My name is Abby Kreuser. I was a Kupu AmeriCorps intern at Kauai Forest Bird Recovery Project. My session was on small animal decay, particularly birds and rat carcasses in a Hawaiian rainforest, specifically on Kauai, they have different scavengers than most islands have. And we were looking at for Kauai forest birds, there's two separate sites, one that's fenced and one that's unfenced, and we were seeing how the presence of ungulates and on these rat grids that we are actively trapping for rats, how long these carcasses last. The importance of these conferences, and I think a lot of conferences, is making sure you're not having to reinvent the wheel, especially with something like pest management. You're not having to come across these issues on your own, whether it be with your traps or with like the pests themselves, like rats or something where you're seeing different behaviors. It's nice to know like what hurdles you can expect to like have to overcome while trying to do your work. I think it's important because it was always kind of a hearsay assumption of how long these rats last. So when we would find a trap with no carcasses under it, we'd be like, oh, maybe those carcasses all decayed very fast, or maybe an animal scavenged them, but we weren't really sure how long these carcasses were lasting because we're only checking our traps every 4 months. So knowing what to expect in these specific sites, how many carcasses we think we should be finding. We use exclusively A24s, the self-resetting Goodnature traps. So we have them set up in a grid formation that goes along with the contours of the alakai, so typically in streams and on plateaus and areas that we are trying to limit rats. I think there's definitely hope for the future, and that's why conferences like this are important, to kind of get the different perspectives and these innovative thoughts that are happening elsewhere, to maybe incorporate in our project and with our specific animals, and how that things can be adapted for us. And I think being persistent and optimistic definitely helps the hope for the future. I think learning more will give you more of an investment in these animals. Once you feel like you're attached to an animal, it becomes more important to you to protect it. And so just learning more is a great start, and then reaching out to people. If you cannot financially help the project, then maybe reaching out to people that care about you and your interests to financially help the project and donate. And even right now, I think you can sponsor a Goodnature trap to be put out in the forest.